Okay, it's 4 a.m. I'm very sick. I'm in a really ranty mood because I don't know why. I'm just angry. So, if you don't like rants, go on along. But if you do like rants and like to hear that tea spilling, stay tuned, I guess. I'm not really gonna do like drama stuff. It's just me ranting because that's what people do whenever they're sick and their nose is stuffed up with mucus. So yeah, let's do this.
PlatyBara.
Okay, now I consider myself a very chill person. I have very long patience due to me having so many siblings and always being around younger kids. I kind of developed a state of mind where it takes a lot to tick me off. Like, I don't care if someone's running late, I'm very patient with that, but there are things that really do get on my nerves, and whenever they get on my nerves, oh boy howdy, do they get on my nerves. Oh my goodness. See, like, I'm like a little fuse, but with like a really long rope. It takes a while to get there, but once it gets there, ooh baby, it gets there. So, yeah, pet peeves, let's do this. Okay, I feel like this pet peeve everyone kind of has, but I hate it. Ooh baby, I hate it. Whenever people make plans, say like a month or a week prior, and like 2 nights or the night right before it, they just call and they're like,
Ooh, sorry. I have stuff coming up. This is very last minute, and I'm just sorry. I can't do the thing.
like, excuse me? I already had to figure out what we're doing because I'm the kind of person that I like to plan out details. I already picked out what we're doing, where we're going to lunch. I already got what I'm wearing, but you just decide to cancel. Like, it's one thing whenever it's family related, like, oh, sorry, my dad is sick and I have to stay home, or like, hey, I'm having relatives visit last minute, there's really nothing I can do. Totally fine. But I've had friends where they would just go, oh, sorry, I don't feel like going anymore, just for no reason. And it's like, what the fuck? Excuse me? And it just, oh my god, it's so annoying. Like I said, there are circumstances where the person can't help it, and I am 1100% okay with that. It's just that whenever you just don't feel like going anymore, that's whenever I get angry. I do not like that. Why would you do that? But yeah, I just hate it whenever people cancel plans last minute. Okay, the second thing, which is also under some circumstances it is totally fine, but other times, pretty much most of the time, it's very annoying. I hate whiny people. Like, whenever I go to a fun place, say like a theme park, a convention, or maybe even just on a walk or a hike, I hate it. I hate it whenever people just find a reason to whine. Oh, it's too hot. Then it's like, I'm sorry, we can go in the shade. And then once we go in the shade, they're like, I just want to go home. Like, then why are you even here? I've had so many times where I would go somewhere, especially this is kind of like with family, where it's just non-stop complaining. One time I went to a place and it was raining, and before then they were complaining that it was too hot and sunny, but once it started raining, they're complaining that it's raining. Like, do you want it to rain or not? Do you want it to rain or not? Tell me. And I understand whenever people kind of feel overwhelmed in some circumstances, and the most they can do to express themselves is to whine, just so people can kind of catch what they're throwing. But if you're just whining just to find a reason to complain and draw attention to yourself, then I feel no remorse for you. I don't feel sorry for you, because all you're doing is just finding a way to make me hate you. Okay, this opinion might be a bit controversial, or just it may make me sound like a dick because I don't know how to phrase words, but I hate it whenever people, especially kind of people on the internet, kind of glorify themselves because they're introverts. I don't really consider myself an introvert because I love talking to people. It's just more like a mental state of mind where I'm freaking out, whereas on the outside, I really do love talking to strangers and get to know them. So I really don't know that full introvert experience. but I hate it whenever people glorify it as if it's a status thing. Like, I'm pretty sure you guys seen those, like, oh, the other girl versus me, or like that boy versus me, and they kind of label introverts as like these loud, obnoxious people, while they're like the like, ooh, I'm gonna stay in my cocoon and read Harry Potter, and yeah. I mean, I like Harry Potter too, so there's really nothing wrong with that. But if you, that's kind of like your idea of like the perfect person, then I don't know what's wrong with you. Introvert or extrovert or in between, as long as you're a really good person, I already like you. I don't care if you're an extrovert or an introvert. I just don't like the stereotypes that kind of go with that. Because there are people that wish they could be extroverts and wish they can go out in public, but I don't like the idea of romanticizing it, because that's just setting up a false image for introverts. Like I said, I really don't consider myself one. Maybe I am one, because like I said, on the inside, I'm always freaking out. But if your idea of a non-obnoxious, loud person is just someone that stays inside all day, then I don't know what to say to you. I consider myself, like I said before, a very chill person, except for now, because I'm really sick and I'm cranky, because I never get sick. But I don't like the idea that extroverts are all just loud and rude people who don't know how to relax. I just hate that stereotype so much. I don't feel like it bothers me. Shocker, it doesn't bother me as much as it used to, because back then I actually had a Tumblr account, and I would see all those like drawings that like, oh, me versus the regular extrovert. Oh, notice how the extrovert is throwing his shirt and I'm in here in my blanket cocoon petting my cat and drinking tea. I just hate it. I'm sure people don't do it now, because now you live in a time where people are a lot more vocal about what they think. So the whole introvert stereotype isn't as common as it is. But I don't know. It's on my list of pet peeves, so I'm just going to talk about it. Okay, another thing I really don't like is people who knock it before they try it. This can go with food, TV shows, movies, music, you name it. It exists. That kind of thing. Because I've had cases where I would try to show someone, say, a show or a movie or an anime, and they just don't like it, and I never even showed it to them before, because they would just hear like, oh, I heard that it's not good. Then it's like, how do you even know that it's not good if you haven't even seen it or had it or tasted it? It's what? It baffles me, because even if I don't like something, I'm at least gonna try it. For example, I hate tea. I hate it. It's so gross, and the smell makes me really, really sick. And that's because I just don't like it. As a kid, I had to drink it. I did not like it. Side note, imagine being a little kid in Kentucky that does not like sweet tea. That's like automatically being the black sheep of the family. And then I tried peppermint tea. I tried green tea. Basically, if a friend tells me to try their tea, I will try it. And 100% of the time, I won't like it, because I just don't like tea. But that's a good example, because I tried it and then I just said I didn't like it. It's totally different than just someone handing me tea and then me just straight up going, oh no, I don't like tea, even if I haven't even tried that kind of tea before. I always want to give something a chance and then give an opinion on it. I don't like it whenever I say, oh, you should watch this. This is really good. And then they just straight up say, oh, no, that's not my thing. Then how are you going to know if you're going to like it? There are numerous times where I watch a show that is out of the norm for me, and I end up loving it. It's just something that I feel like people are missing out on because they're scared of not liking it. And I'd rather watch something or eat something and not like it, rather than spend the rest of my life wondering if I'm actually going to like it. Okay, I don't know, this one's kind of the opposite, because like I said before, I always try it before I knock it. And actually, this one probably doesn't relate at all. I don't even know what I'm saying. Forgive me, like I said, I'm sick. But I hate it whenever people call me a hipster for not liking something that everyone likes. Because okay, listen. I kind of give off the vibe, especially to family members, that I don't know what everything is. And whenever I actually do. For example, I would have someone in my family that likes Hamilton, and they'd ask me, hey, do you like Hamilton the musical? I would say no, because I don't care for it. And then they would just say, oh, you're just a hipster. I get it. It's fine. And it's like, no, I'm not. I listen to the music and I pretty much write into the plot of it. I just don't care for it. And they just kind of see it as me being like, I'm not like other teens. I'm out of the norm. You can listen to your One Directions while I'm in here writing my poetry. Like, I'm not like that. I like everything. There are things that I don't like, and I always have a reason to not like them. That's kind of my thing. And I just hate it whenever people write it off as me being a hipster. There are more than one occasions where I don't like something. Not just because it's popular, just because I don't like it. And I always feel like people get mad about it because 9 out of 10 times it's always something that they like. I just don't get why people can respect people's opinions without calling them a hipster. Like, there are cases where I would have streams and people would spam Hamilton, and I'm like, hey, don't do that. And I can't help but feel bad. I just don't like it. And before you ask in the comments or get mad at me in the comments for not liking Hamilton, there are things that I like that you don't, and that's just how life goes. People have different opinions, but that doesn't mean they're a hipster for not liking something that's popular. I mean, unless they actually are a hipster and actually hate something because it's popular and they knock it before they try it. That's a whole different story. And yeah. Okay, this one I really don't know how to explain because it's more like a thing that I think about rather than talk about. But I hate it whenever people talk dumb to me or just talk down to me for no clear reason. This is mainly a high school thing because I had have it to me happen in high school. I don't know why. Probably because I'm a girl and people just kind of think, oh, well, maybe she cannot understand. There would be cases where I would be friends with someone in high school, not even friends with them. I would just know them. I would just acknowledge their existence. And they would just be interested in something like, oh yeah, what's that? And they would just talk to me like I'm a literal 5-year-old. There are cases, especially in the anime club that I was president of, there would be people that would like Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Was huge. I don't know why. I mean, I graduated in 2016, but still, throughout my high school year, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was still everywhere. And I would be like, oh, are you guys playing Yu-Gi-Oh? And they would be like, yeah, here's how you play. You have to do this and this and this. But don't use that card. You have to save that card for this. Like, I played Yu-Gi-Oh! In the 3rd grade. I think I know what I'm doing. And even then, it's like, I don't want to play with you. I got my own friends. And it just, I don't know why, but it always happens. Even whenever I'm in class, like, for example, history. I'm really good at history. History is my shit. I'm good at it. And there would be cases where I would go up to them and be like, hey, I really don't understand how to fill out this note chart. Can you explain to me? And then the teacher would turn into like a 360 and say, oh, well, you have to write about the start of World War II, and you have to figure out what exactly did happen between these two countries and why it led this country into this. You see, and they would just talk to me about World War II as if I'm like 3 years old. And it's like, I already know about World War II. I took a whole extra class on it. I just want to know exactly how to fill out this chart. These are oddly specific times, but I feel like that's the only way I can actually talk about what exactly this pet peeve is. I just hate people talking dumb to me for no reason whenever I actually know more about the subject than they do. Oh wow, okay, this video is actually getting kind of long, I'm sorry. But another pet peeve. This one isn't really a current one. This is kind of one that went back into the 4th grade, and it kind of led into a lot of my self-confidence issues that I still have today. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I was a Kentucky kid, which means I had an accent, a country accent. And then I moved to Virginia because my mom was in the army, and the kids in Virginia didn't really have the exact accent that I had, and I would just get made fun for it. So I hate it. Ooh, I hate it whenever people make fun of other people just for their accents. And they're like, oh my God, you sound so funny. Here, say this, say this, say this. And it's like, I'm not going to say that for you just because my voice sounds funny to you. It's very annoying. And I actually had to force myself to change my voice just so I wouldn't get picked on. And that kind of led into me just being self-conscious about everything, like my face, my hair, my body, just because of a stupid accent thing that a kid said in the 4th grade of me. It's very, very rude. And it's understandable whenever you're like, oh my gosh, your accent, I love it. Where did you come from? And it's just a whole different thing saying, oh my God, you sound so weird. What's your accent? Oh my God. It's very annoying. I mean, having a country accent isn't as like unicornish in America, but I lived in an area in Virginia where not a lot of people had it, and they just thought it was really weird. And of course, whenever they found out I was from Kentucky, they would just turn it, like I said in the last pet peeve, just talk to me like I'm stupid just because of my accent. Like, my mom told me how she went to a field trip in California and she had to do a presentation, and the people literally told her that she didn't pass because of her accent. And it's just very, very rude. So if you just hear people with a different accent, don't even address it. Because it's very, very, very rude most of the time. Okay, another one. This kind of ties in again with the talking dumb down thing. But it's not really people talking. It's more like how people act around me. So I'm 19 years old, which may sound a bit older to most of you guys. But in pretty much most of the friends I make, if not all, they are all older than me. Because I consider myself a very mature person. And that's kind of what happens with trauma. But anyway, so I would have cases where people would think that I'm older because of my voice, or because of how I act, or how I address things, or even how I draw. People always assume that I'm older than what I actually am. And whenever I do say, oh no, I'm 19, they would just act like it's the end of the world. And I don't get why. I think it's not really a pet peeve, it's just confusion. I don't know what's wrong with me being 19. I guess what really annoys me is whenever people say, oh, you act so mature for a 19-year-old. Or, hey, you draw well for a 19-year-old. Like, no, I draw well because I draw well. It's very, very, very annoying. There are cases where I do stumble upon someone that draws a million light years better than me, and they're 14, and then even then I'm not like, oh, you draw good for a 14-year-old. No, I say, hey, you draw amazing, good on you. And you just shouldn't judge people based on their age. If someone is older or younger than your expectations, don't act like they're a whole different person. Their age shouldn't affect who they are. It should not really affect anything unless they're too young to drink, smoke, or drive. That should affect that. But it shouldn't affect your opinions on them, or how you look up to them in their art or their videos or whatever. It shouldn't really matter. Okay, this one kind of ties in with mental illness. So if you don't want to hear about mental illness, just kind of skip ahead. But for those of you who again don't know, I have been diagnosed with depression at the age of 12, and it's very, very severe. So there are cases where I've had meltdowns one day, and then the next day I'm totally fine, but I still kind of have like that thing in my brain. I don't want to go into this, like a whole nother video, but there are times where I'm just straight up depressed, and people have the idea to play counselor with me. This has kind of been an ongoing thing ever since I even first got diagnosed with depression. People would see like, oh, you have depression? Here's how you don't get sad anymore. And it's like, I'm not sad, I'm depressed. And even then, I can't help it because it's not how I feel. It's a thing in my brain. You can't change my brain. It's just like, hey, whenever I make a vent tweet, or if I am, expressing that I'm depressed, what people like to do is that they like to play psychologist and tell me what I'm feeling whenever I already know what I'm feeling. Because there are times where, not really any specific times, this is like a very old problem. I don't think people really do it as often anymore. And there are times where I am like, hey guys, I'm depressed and I don't know what to do. I'd rather have someone saying, hey, I know how you feel, it's okay, rather than them telling me what's wrong with me whenever I already know what's wrong with me. And they kind of turn it into trying to put the problem on me. They would say, oh, well, here's what you're doing wrong, and here's how you can help your depression by doing it right. Even if I go like on a life-changing journey and I find the Loch Ness Monster and I find Atlantis and I become a rich millionaire, I'm still gonna have depression, bro. It's in my brain. Like, you can't get rid of mental illness. Well, at least not with the current science. It's just, I hate it whenever people take my mental illness and see it as an opportunity for them to seem like a good person for telling me what's wrong with me. I'd rather have someone just straight up say, hey, talk to me when you need to, rather than barge down and tell me what to do, rather than actually understanding what my real problem is. Okay, I'm gonna end it here because this video is gonna be more than 20 minutes, and that means I'm gonna have to draw more, and yeah. So sorry about my rants. I'm very sick. It's not, there's a flu going around, and I kind of was gonna make a whole response video to another video and decided instead of causing drama, I should just do an open rant and just talk about pet peeves. And yeah, sorry if you're not really into the whole rant scene. I understand people don't really like hearing rants. They rather just hear about happy things. And I promise for my next video, it's going to be a bit more happy. So yeah, actually, you know what? The next video is going to be a Q&A, a lighthearted Q&A. So if you're at the end of this video, for one, type in butt cheeks, so that way I know if you watch this entire thing, and just ask me any let's do non-art related questions for the Q&A, just so you can kind of get to know me as a person and not as an artist. And for the next video, it'll be a Q&A, kind of stylized like my comments video. And yeah, stay super swaggy, and yeah, bye!